Our next guest today is a Floris Boccanegra artist from Belgium. So Floris, my first question, undoubtedly our world has faced so many challenges we didn't have for decades, and nobody knows what is around the next corner. Isn't it scary? And what is your biggest concern in the current situation as an artist?
Well, it's definitely it's escalating. I thought that when Russia invaded Ukraine, it was already, very scary. But now that on top of that, you also have an ongoing war in Gaza that could destabilize and drag the whole region into another war. It feels like so many things are going on at once. And it feels like the situation is going a little bit out of control. And that's something that I, in my young life, have never experienced before. Luckily, I mean, it's safe for me to say I'm here, safe and well in Brussels. But you can definitely see that there are a lot of things going on in the world, in Europe, the Middle East. It's very turbulent times.
Yeah, as far as I know, Brussels has a large Muslim community. The city is very, very international. And what is happening now on the streets? Tell me, please.
Well, there was a terroristic attack. There was a football match, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, Belgium-Sweden. And because Sweden, there were, like in the past, a lot of demonstrations against migration, against Muslims. They did a lot of burnings of the Quran, and because of that, a lone terrorist decided it was a good idea to murder two football supporters on the streets because of that. So it's in moments like that you feel that the violence is not that far away. It's getting pretty close when you hear something like that.
So I will not ask you whom you support in the conflict in the Middle East, of course. But why do you think it's essential for people to know what celebrities, well-known people, think about the current situation? What do you think?
Well, I think the whole situation, it's like in English, it's called like a hornet's nest. It's so complicated, so complex, I think. And even if you would study the whole topic in depth, it's still not so easy to just say this side is wrong and the other side is on the right. And when it comes to like celebrities taking sides, I think it's brave because, I mean, for example, our national goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois, is from Real Madrid. He's married to an Israeli woman. So he posted something in support of Israel, and then his whole Instagram was bombarded. And then you have other football players who posted some posts supporting the Palestinian case, and then they were cancelled or reprimanded because of that. So it's and I truly believe that both parties, when they give their support, it's not that necessarily that they don't support the other cause. I mean, when you ask me, I mean, I have no. I mean, my point of view is that I think it's horrible what happened during the Hamas attack, but it's equally as horrible as what is going on in Gaza, killing of civilians. It's wrong on both sides, but it's way more complex than that. It's not black and white, it's gray. It's like 70 shades of gray. Yeah, and I actually don't feel in a right position to give like a proper opinion on it, because as I said, I think it's very important to read up about the whole history. Why do things happen the way that they did? And yeah, even then you can say, okay, this side in this situation is the victim, and in another situation the other side is a victim. It's so complex, and it's extremely tragic, and I have no idea how in the near future this whole situation could be resolved, if it can be resolved. I mean, it's yeah.
Yes, I see. I see. So be careful. My next question starts with the words. Artists are people driven by the tension between the desire to communicate and the desire to hide. By the way, this phrase I took from your Instagram. Does our turbulent time promote creativity, or, on the contrary, deprive you of the opportunity to be heard?
Well, at the moment, I mean, I did an art project in Kiev, which was inspired by the war. But when we're talking about the current war in Gaza, I have no current project, and I'm not inspired to do something specific about the current conflict, because, as I said, it's too complex, and it's too hot to touch at this moment. But what I do see as other artists, and specifically cartoonists, people who make like these like cartoons in a newspaper, I think that a lot of cartoonists, and I think there are at least 4 or 5 in big newspapers, who also get reprimanded because they were they were accused of being anti-Semitic because they were inspired by the conflict. They made a cartoon about it, for example, about Netanyahu, and all of a sudden they were treated with like, yeah, you're an anti-Semitic because you criticize the extreme right wing party of Israel. So that's something that I'm totally against. You either can make art about everything, or you can't make art about anything. There's the moment that you start saying, hey, you can't say this or you can't touch that subject, then you're in a situation that is not fruitful. And yeah, I'm not a fan of that at all.
But in general, if we are talking about artists, how important is it for artists to express publicly his opinion on military conflicts? Is it better to remain silent? Why?
No.
Some. Yeah. Okay, please.
Sorry to interrupt. No, I think if, as an artist, you feel the need to express yourself, by all means, do so. I mean, I think when it comes to war, like say the war that is going on in Ukraine, all the ways of putting attention towards the war and to show the incredible difficulties that Ukrainians, the soldiers, the civilians have to endure, that's all good. The only tricky part is, as an artist, that you have to make sure that you don't become a part of like a propaganda machine. So it's, you really have to do like an exercise and balance, where you respect your own view, but also make sure that you stay away of the pitfalls, and become like a propaganda puppet. I think that can be tricky, but that's when you do it's called political art, although I don't really like that term. But basically, the moment that you do something about a problem or situations in the world, it's political. So you have to make sure that you find the right balance in expressing yourself in the purest way.
You know, the war in Ukraine, let's say, has shown that silence is not an option. The society also does not accept a position of neutrality, such as we are all for peace, I don't want people to die on both sides of the conflict. It requires a clear position from the artists. Why so? Why is it so important for people to know what their, shall we say, idols think about this or that?
Because we live in a world where, for example, people like Cristiano Ronaldo or can't really think of another celebrity like an actor, for example. They have a huge audience on their social media and followers, and the word follower, it says itself. People follow those people. They believe what they say, and it can be again tricky, especially. I mean, I don't think there's a single celebrity that is openly supporting Putin. I hope so, but when it comes to the Gaza war, it's a bit more polarizing, and frankly, like I said, I think it's way more important to do your proper research. Just go to Wikipedia, read a book about the history of a certain conflict, and inform yourself instead of blindly following the opinion of one individual. So that's my opinion on that topic.